Hi everybody, I'm Greg Masters. I'm pleased to read for Don Yorty's website. I've got a new book, What All the Songs Add Up To, just released this month. And I'd like to read a few for you. Vagaries. It's nothing specific, it's the accumulation, like a recipe. The way the ingredients affect each other and make the whole. It's a changing whole. Not even a snapshot stops it. It's only a part taken up in the momentum of the instants gathered. Maps help only in the particulars. I'm vaguer than that. The calendar does engage the yearning to contain more than the information and pleasures and pains of passing days. I want it tidy, like compacted trash. All the fibrillations answering the breezes. Voices echoing, footsteps solid against the floorboards. It's in the air, that immeasurable substance, alien and benign, enveloping, porous and peculiar. A pigeon on the windowsill we push a piece of strawberry out to, a 3-year-old and I. You'd be so nice to come home to, a lyric suddenly played back on my inner frequency. Birds singing, that's been good. My friend next door on hearing me home knocks to borrow bleach for an ink stain on a new white blouse. Maybe it'll work, I hope so. I doubt it. Good luck. It didn't. This is a summation of its parts. That indefinable but urgent broadcast of convergences. There it is, exactly as it has to be. Who am I to interfere? Tiny portraits. Dutch treat. Marjolein, not so sure of her English, calls from Holland to ask, do gulls glide or sail in the air? New file cabinets. I'm getting myself organized, I tell Nellie. You're always getting yourself organized, says Nellie. Be kinder to yourself, I just said at the kitchen table to myself. Minor bus disaster. Nellie, I'm so sorry I told you to go up to 14th Street to get the M1 Limited. It, in fact, stops at 9th Street, where we were. Veet. What a great day I had with Veet. He's the kind of person who you realize later has made you available to stuff you might not on a routine day be so eager to get connected to. A box of tea has disappeared from my apartment. Look behind the stove, says Lorna. She always has answers, not necessarily to my questions. These, my friends, sustain me through the years. A reminder. In 1964, Henry Flint, George Messianis, and a contingent of Fluxus artists picketed a Stockhausen performance of Original in Judson Hall, New York City, protesting the domination of white European U.S. ruling class art and accusing the composer of social climbing and cultural imperialism. Ode to Chinese food delivery guys. Once on a backpacking trip in the Catskill Mountains, we hiked over Slide Mountain from the northeast, and coming down the other side came upon a tiny waterfall and farther along another, feeding into the first. Continuing along the trail, more and more droplets of water dripping from the mountain converged in tributaries to feed one brook, which, as we descended farther, gained the momentum of a stream, and as we reached the bottom of the elevation, was by that time a raging river, the Neversink, I believe. The stream passed the trailhead into the hamlet of Claryville, big enough for a post office and a few homes. This is what I remembered while noticing a young man get on a bike on Avenue A in the East Village of Manhattan with 2 shopping sacks filled with Chinese food, packaged in bags, folded neatly over and stapled, and watched him push off to begin his delivery route, taking those first few cycles through the pedestrians on the busy sidewalk, headed out to his destinations alone in his service. Ride with the gentle breeze as you make your grueling rounds. provider of nourishment and convenience to so many weary New Yorkers. May you someday be rewarded with rich sons and daughters to pamper you with more than what paltry words this poem provides. On the crosstown bus. You going to 6th Avenue, Kenny? Yeah. Wake me up at 6th Avenue. You gonna fall asleep that fast? Yeah, I think so. No problem. After a rain. What's the story with this place? I ask Freddie the mailman as we find ourselves beneath the grand reopening sign of Christine's on 1st Avenue. The road's been darkened by a light rain. The air we see through is gray, finally, where we notice it as background, flat beyond the 5-story tenements. All the postal workers, he's telling me, used to come here for breakfast. Yeah, I say, the food used to be good and cheap. We agree the quality went down before it closed, and now we both hold hope that new owners will restore some of what we each remember of its past neighborhood glory. It'll never be as good as it used to be, he sighs. I agree, peeking inside at the hairy-chested men in whites shuffling around. There is always someone mopping up behind a closed restaurant door. I've got a newspaper under my arm. We're past chat as Freddie proceeds to full-scale nostalgia. 5-cent trolley rides to Coney Island where, with 25 cents, you could take a friend and come back with a bellyache from eating so much candy. And now we have microwave. Give me an onion, a potato, and a pot. I've got time, he's saying, as the cars continue their endless drive up the avenue. Okay, let me go. I see my friend in the doorway. I'm only bringing him an electric bill, but he's waiting for it. And the title poem close with, What All the Songs Add Up To. During the Lucifer's Dance section of the only extant recording of the second of what would become Stockhausen's 7-opera cycle, Licht, the musicians, no doubt emboldened by their union membership and fidelity to music more readily acceptable, begin leaving the stage mid-performance. We hear the rustling of chairs amid the pause in performance, and then shouting between, it turns out, the composer and the conductor. Stockhausen is imploring the maestro to continue the performance, to rein in his orchestra members who are obviously fed up with the unorthodox proceedings. But the moment is captured on tape and presented for our edification decades later. It is perhaps a staged event, but Stockhausen out-Godards Godard by integrating the chaos and unexpected fracas so that our attachment to traditional forms is shattered. Thank you.